Okay, so I'm a member of Nambucca Writers Group, and we're releasing an anthology next week, next Saturday. And this is one of my short stories from the anthology. It was written at the beginning of COVID, when we had the daily Gladys conferences. Masked Poets Society. There was no warning they'd be targeted, but suddenly they were on the forbidden list. Their joyous pursuits branded dangerous, along with singing, dancing and playing woodwind instruments. Storm watched in horror as Gladys announced that from midnight, Friday, poetry was illegal. They had followed the COVID regulations like socially responsible anarchists, social distancing at their tiny spoken word gatherings, resorting to Zoom when gatherings were banned. Now poetry was on the government hit list. One reporter questioned the ban, and Storm imagined that she was a closet poet, scribbling sonnets in her walk-in wardrobe. Gladys elaborated eloquently. Poetry is dangerous and divisive. Poetry incites and inflames. Rhyme invokes and incants. Chants can be incendiary. Rhymes are the basis of black magic. Words can be used as weapons, and spoken word events could be cesspits of transmission. Storm admired the alliteration and the erotic rhythm of Gladys' words. She guessed that accidental political poetry was exempt from the new laws. This was all Karen from Bunnings' fault. She'd stood over her $10 fire pit, attempting to hex Dan the man out of his job. But her viral video had only made her a viral punchline and directed ridicule towards witches. But perhaps the power of words had made the National Cabinet a bit twitchy. It wasn't like the masses would care. Their steady diet of Netflix, Sky News and reality shows had already deadened their brains, and the rest was seizing onto every conspiracy theory on the internet. There seemed to be only two categories of people, the sheeple and the awoke, according to the conspiracy theorists. The poets were somewhere in between. Not many people out there were thinking for themselves anymore. It was left to the poets. Still, they waited to see how far the anti-poetry agenda would be pushed. Next came the buyback scheme, cashing your Keats and Shakespeare for dollars. Like hell. Gladys lamented the non-uptake of the buyback scheme and reiterated the danger of poetry. Storm laughed, visualising her bookcases self-combusting with the inflammable tomes they held. But it was better to take precautions. She packed the books carefully into fireproof cases after a final delve into her favourite poems. Then came the not-so-random door knocks. Masked policemen at the door demanding that she hand over her poetry books. To appease them, she led them into her lounge room and showed them her innocuous shelves, now full of fantasy novels, nary an iambic pentameter in sight. Others in her poetry group had not had the same foresight and had sobbed as the police had left them armfuls of books. They gathered at a mournful social distance and bemoaned their life purpose being ripped from them. Storm was furious. They've taken our poetic freedom. We must rise and show them we'll not be defeated. The defeated one spurred to action as she continued to speak, ad-libbing the poem emerging from her soul. If they want masks, they shall have masks, she said, and we will film it, and we'll bombard social media, and we will go viral. And so that was the beginning of the Masked Poets Society, anarchist and outspoken, swooping upon outdoor settings, performing their rage poetry, filming and disappearing before the authorities arrived, and then flooding the internet with their poetic posts. They made a scene, they made a point, they made a poem. They made poetry relevant again.